the IoD monthly seminar on the topic, We Are Not Far from Progress, exploring the linkages between leadership, institutional mindset, and governance success. My name is Celestia Kujo, Head of Operations of IoD-Gh, and I'll be your moderator for today's seminar. We take some few administrative directives. We encourage all participants on the call to kindly mute their microphone, since this session is a virtual session and is being recorded. Please, if you have to speak, kindly check your background noise and make sure that there is no noise to distract your speech when you are speaking. In case you want to show your camera during the session, as you're asking a question, please let's ensure that we see what we are supposed to see. And let's try as much as possible to limit distractions. We encourage all comments and questions to be left in the chat box to be attended to in due course. Because we are all joining with our devices fully named, we skip this session. We encourage all participants on the call to follow us on our social media handles. That's our YouTube page, our Facebook, our LinkedIn, X, Instagram, and as well as if you are not on the Telegram page, please join the Telegram page for all communications. In case of any assistance or further information, or you have any challenge in the course of the session, please reach out to the Secretariat on +233 0302 732269 or +233 0240 714 798, or send us an email to info@iodghana.org. Let's kindly note that this meeting is being recorded and the recording will be shared on all the platforms where the link was shared for you to register and join the session. Aside that, the links will be sent to your emails because we have your emails based on the registration. Just in case we are not able to exhaust the presentation and answer all your questions, the questions that will be left in the chat box will be sent to the presenter to answer, and the responses will be sent to your emails as well. So please take note of that. Just in case you leave a question that we are not able to answer due to the limited time, note that the solutions will be sent to your emails together with the recording link of this seminar. On this note, we have on the call the President of the Institute of Directors Ghana in the person of Mrs. Mary Asari-Yeboah. So I yield the floor to Madam President to give us the opening remarks for this seminar. Madam President, please, you have the invisible mic. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Celestia, Head of Operations. And good afternoon, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, all council members, current and past, all members and participants are duly acknowledged. Welcome to the seminar. The topic for this afternoon's webinar: We are not far from progress, exploring the linkages between leadership, institutional mindset, and governance success, is presented by one of our own, Prof. De-Graft Owusu-Manu. This topic touches on the very important subject of effective alignment of leadership, institutional mindset, governance success, and the relationship among these three elements for institutional and, I must add, national success. I trust this will be a time of insightful learning and or timely reminders of what we as directors and leaders must constantly keep in view and effectively implement. Without wasting time, I call on Mr. Sarah Mankra to formally introduce today's speaker so we can get the real business going. Welcome once again, and thank you all very much.
Thank you very much,
Sarah,
Madam
please take over.
President. Thank you very much. And I stand on existing protocols to introduce to you the speaker for this afternoon's seminar in the person of Professor De-Graft Owusu-Manu, who holds a PhD and also a member of the Institute of Directors Ghana. So Professor De-Graft Owusu-Manu is a professor of construction business, economics, and finance at the Department of Construction Technology and Management of the University of Science, Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology in Kumasi. And he obtained his PhD after having attained a first-class honors from the university and moved straight to pursue his PhD course where he specialized in capital asset investments and financial management of corporations. He's an astute businessman, entrepreneur, a consultant, a teacher, a mentor, a business coach, a mindset trainer, and an academic. And he has conducted academic research which cuts across a wide range of construction and business-related disciplines, including construction economics and finance, construction management, project management, procurement management, sustainable cities development, green management with strong interest in investments, corporate strategy, entrepreneurship, and management consulting. He is a chartered management consultant from both the International Council of Management Consultants Institutes Global and Chartered Institute of Management Consultants and Administrators Ghana. He is also a fellow of the International Council of Management Consultants Institutes Global and Ghana Institute of Construction. He is also a member of the Institute of Sustainable Management, Ghana Institute of Surveyors, and has received several academic awards, among which is the prestigious Best Graduate Award from the Ghana Institution of Surveyors in 2003, and the Eminence Award in Research conferred by the KNUST in 2011. He has served on several committees and boards at both national, regional, district, and community levels, where he plays influential roles. Professor De-Graft Owusu-Manu is currently the Times Higher Education World University Rankings 2026, released in October 2025, placed him on exceptional recognition as one of Ghana's top 1,000 scientists, ranking in impressive 51st among elite scholars nationwide, 13th within KNUST, and emerging as first from the College of Arts and Built Environment, where he works. He is married to Matilda, and they are blessed with 3 kids, Jason, Anika, and De-Graft Jr. Ladies and gentlemen, Professor De-Graft Johnson is our facilitator for this afternoon. Prof, thank you so much for accepting this invitation. I'll yield the floor to you.
Prof, please, you have the floor to share your screen, please.
All right, thank you very much, Sarah, for the wonderful introduction about myself. Thank you. Good afternoon, Madam President. Good afternoon, distinguished fellows of this noble institution. Good afternoon, council members, both present and the past. I want to take this opportunity to welcome all of you to this meeting and also thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to be with you this afternoon. Before I move on to today, we are going to deal with an important subject that is not popular in our training calendars. And I want to once again thank God for today and thank God for giving the opportunity to be with you. I thank the leadership of IoD for inviting me to this meeting, and also thank Reverend Angela Appiah-Carmen for the support he has been providing to us and also connecting me to this opportunity. I thank Madame Celestia for keeping the correspondences very well. And I also thank all my mentors who trained me to become the person I've grown to become. I want to place a special acknowledgement to my wife, Mrs. De-Graft who has joined the meeting for the support she has been providing to me. Now, I think Sarah has done a lot about my background, but he missed certain things that I want to briefly tell you about. He forgot to mention that I come from a very humble home. In Africa, when you say somebody comes from a humble home, it means he comes from a poor background. My case would be more chronic. Probably most of us are coming from the same background, but probably my case would have been more chronic. I struggled through school trying to fend for myself, paying my own school fees and dealing with the situations as a child I had to go through. Along the line, I've also been confronted with a lot of issues, setbacks, sicknesses, breakdowns, and all that. I met destiny helpers who helped me become the person that I've become, and the faith that I confess, the Christ that I confess, who also helped me throughout the way. And indeed, these experiences have really shaped my understanding about the world and also shaped my mindset, the way I see the world to be. In fact, I am the type who can handle multiple tasks. And if we see the records, it shows. I'm telling us this because when I talk about issues, the issues I speak about, I have lived it and I'm living it. So the story I'm going to tell you as this afternoon is based on my own life experiences that I've had. In fact, my main philosophy in life has been that has been to serve, to inspire, and also to create opportunities I never had. Because growing up, I never had a lot of opportunities. And then also I have to go through serving people and also to become the man that I've become. So I developed a certain philosophy for myself that when I become, I also use this same opportunity to serve others and to inspire others and to create opportunities. And that is exactly the life I'm living now. Madam President, today's topic, we are not far from progress, exploring the linkages between leadership, institutional mindset, and governance success. Let me put on record here that this topic is philosophical, in that it can be broken down into several components that is more situated within the work of IoD-Gh. And for that matter, it's exactly the topic IoD-Gh needs at this time to rethink and then also move towards move towards sources. For instance, the topic acknowledges a Pan-African generational challenge and offers a way forward. We all know the challenge that Africa has. And then it tells us that the gap is closing gradually, and it reawakens IoD-Gh to take pragmatic steps in closing the gap that we all know about. It connects also three important subjects that are usually taught in isolation: leadership, development, organizational mindset, and governance are typically separate models that are taught in most seminars and CPD programs. The same topic introduced a whole new dimension of mindset into governance training. We are fully aware that most governance training stops at structures, policies, and compliance. But the issue is that the missing link of mindset, which brings these elements together, are mostly forgotten. And then lastly, it promises a practical insight for members of IoD-Gh, not another theoretical framework. Like most of us would think that as a professor, I will come and talk about theory. No, we are going to do it practice. Madam President, this afternoon's, the next 40 minutes that I'm going to spend with you, we will be looking at 7 thematic areas that I've started my presentation to cover. One, I'll try to set the context. That's understanding progress at various levels. And then also I'll try to define the core concepts of the presentation: leadership, mindset, and governance. And then present to you linkages framework and how the concepts interconnect. Sorry. Then I'll present some cases and lessons learned from global and African perspective. I'll look at that of Rwanda. I will look at that of Singapore. I will look at that of China and that of Ghana, if time permits. I'll also talk about Ghana's journey, where we are now, and then the director's role, actionable insight for IoD-Gh members, and then give you some practical recommendations at the national level, at the IoD level, for your pragmatic action. Madam Chair, in terms of defining progress, let me demonstrate it with a time architecture of progress I developed. And it focuses on 5 stages of life, using our own personal life, our growth stages, and how we have progressed through our growth stages. From day 1, as we are born, up to age 18, which the core theme or emphasis of our upbringing was more on forming and also absorbing the things the people around us gave us. So at that time, we were more dependent on people. From age 1 to 18, we call ourselves dependency. Everybody depends on somebody. And then the key question that tries to answer is that who am I becoming? And the people that help us to become whatever we are becoming. And then age 19 to 25, you have the formation years, where we become more or less semi-dependency. In fact, at this point, we are testing your independence, building competencies and direction. I'm sure by this time, if you haven't finished the university, you are almost finishing the university. Some would have finished their PhDs and all that. So we've moved from dependency to semi-dependency. That's progress. And then we have the achieving years, 26 to 25. That's the time everybody tries to achieve something, building business, building career, building empires and all that. And as directors, that's the point we also build our careers. We move from stage 1, stage 2, stage 3 to the director that you have become, the entrepreneur that you become, the boss that you have become. At this level, you are independent, 100% independent. If anyone is within this range and is still dependent or semi-dependent, there's a question mark. And then you move on to another level of progress that has the harvest years, 56 to 70. That's where you are beginning to transition from accumulation of wealth to generous contribution. At this point, we all try to make impact. We all try to give back to the society that made you. So we move on to independency, to goodwill. And then 70 plus, that's when you are about completing the journey and becoming the story others tell. So we come to the legacy. So if you look at your own personal life, I mean, we have progressed from dependency, semi-dependency, independence, goodwill, and then also legacy. Prof, Madam President, understanding of progress by way of definition, I would say, is the process of moving forward toward a specific goal or achieving betterment over time. And then it applies to personal growth or professional growth. It also can talk about technological growth and also social and economic well-being of communities. And these are things that we are aware of. Professionally, every individual wants to journey through some form of self-improvement, acquiring new skills. Even this seminar series we're having is part of the professional development. The new skill you acquire will improve your life and to make you progress. We have this scientific breakthrough, AI, mobile money technology, and AI human interface or collaborations in delivering work and all that are all scientific breakthroughs that we all have. In terms of societal, we have movements towards equality, better public health, increased literacy, and also sustained reduction of poverty. In fact, some years back, Ghana's GDP was around $66 billion. That was in 2018. Now, our GDP is around $118 billion. Ghana has progressed economically, and we are still progressing. So the gap is gradually closing. Madam President, I have a philosophy of progress. Many people think that progress is a straight line course, which is not true. Progress has pull and push forces. That makes it very uneven. You attest to the fact that becoming the president of this noble institution is progress. And the fact that you have become the president, and I think the second woman president of this noble institution, speaks to the fact that you didn't get it on silver platter. There were ups and downs. That is the true meaning of progress. So progress can never be a straight line course. It has its own curves. In fact, true progress requires a balance between reducing risks and also strengthening our capacity to handle what the changes bring. You can also say that progress can be measured. In fact, we have quantitative approaches of measuring progress and also qualitative approaches. In fact, when you're talking about quantitative approach, like I mentioned, Ghana, we can verify that indeed this year our GDP was this year it is this. That is measurement. And then that subjective assessment of well-being, social equity, happiness, and community cohesion are all qualitative measurement of progress. Let me put this question to us. And as a continent, as a country, are we making progress? To me, I would say yes. Why? Because currently, Africa has been projected to achieve a $3 trillion combined economy by 2030. Fortunately, we are in 2026. By the data suggests that we are already into $2.8 trillion. And that is a big progress. It means the potential is there, which is untapped. If we are able to tap into this potential, the changes that we will realize will be enormous. Madam President, we have 54 countries with diverse challenges, and 54 countries is big market, right? And we also have common governance needs. If all these 54 countries put our energies together, the kind of things Africa can do, it can be unimaginable. Madam President, let me say that, in fact, our median age is under 25 years, and 60% of African population fall under the median age. And that is unprecedented. That is the future, a future of young, vibrant population that is ready to take the world by surprise. And when we say this, we are envy of many, because even the West and then those developed countries, the so-called global North countries, their age population is dying. For instance, if you go to Japan, they are into their 60s, their median age is around 60s and all that, which is a problem. Madam President, let me put on record say that 30% of the world's critical mineral reserves are here with us in Africa. You take platinum, even up to 92%, cobalt, 56%, manganese, 54%, and all that. If we decide to use cobalt alone as a geopolitical weapon, which now everybody is using his major resources as geopolitical weapon, Africa can stop the whole world from running. Also, 1.5 billion population in Africa. In fact, I was shocked when I saw this figure. Now, Africa looks like the most populous continent. And then China, 1.4 billion, India, 1.48 billion. I checked this when I was coming for this presentation, and it was staggering to see that our population has risen to 1.5 billion. Madam President, we have all the resources, we have all the talent, we have the human capital. We have the market. 1.58 billion is a big market. But what are the forces that are holding us back? To me, I think it's the alignment of leadership, mindset, and governance. And that is precisely what we want to look at from this lecture. Now, let me try to explain leadership for progress. We know we are all leaders. This is not a time for me to lecture us about leadership. You are already dons in the subject matter. But let me quote Simon Sinek, position about leadership. He said, leadership is not about being in charge. It's about taking care of those those in your charge. So I'm asking that question. I'm putting it to us, that are we in charge, or we are taking good care of those in your charge? If you are not taking good care of those in our charges, we should begin to do so. There are two views of leadership I want to highlight briefly, then we can move on. That's the traditional view of leadership and progress-oriented view. Most of us are more familiar with the traditional view of leadership that emphasis more on position-based authority, command and control, personal gain focus, short-term orientation, and extractive behaviors. In fact, that's what we know when we're growing up, and even now in Africa, it's more or less, I'm the boss, I'm the CEO, I'm the chairman, I'm that. And then we all want to command and control. And then also, in most of our things, we are more focused on personal gains. What is it in for me? Or what would I gain from this position? Some time ago, I got a chance to serve a certain board, and I told my friend that, oh, I'm serving this board. Then the moment I called him, he said, then He gave me strategies, so much stuff which I don't understand. Right. So personal gains and all that. And then we have the progress-oriented view that is more on influence-based impact, how we can use our position to influence and make impact. It involves more or less collaborative engagement with stakeholders, and then it's collective benefit focus. Everybody gets a mutual share, a mutual benefit of the cake and all that. Long-term vision, you think long-term, not short-term. You see, most of us, which we have to all change, that when we are visioning, we vision short-term, 5 years, man-term. And when man-term is over, that's it. No, we should have long-term vision that will cut across generations. That is progress-oriented view of leadership. And then also value creation behaviors. Madam Chair, Madam President, let me run you through these 5 dimensions of transformational leadership, which you already know. But for the sake of this presentation, let me mention them in passing. When we talk about transformational leadership, we are talking about a leader who is visionary thinking, who articulates compelling future that inspire action, and then a leader who's also ethically grounded, and the person is honest and has integrity, and always transparent to management, to board, and to their stakeholders. A leader who empowers others, building capacity and developing future leaders. It's not about ending your term. It's not about finishing the race. It's about you building the next generation of leaders to take over from you. But this is quite missing in Africa. And it's a mindset challenge, which we have to correct it. Then you also have system perspective. A transformational leader has to have system thinking approach, apply system thinking approach in everything, understanding the interconnections and long-term impacts, knowing your system very well. And then lastly, you talk about adaptive resilience. If you are a transformational leader, you should be able to navigate through complexities when trouble comes. It's not a leader when trouble comes, he is nowhere to be found. You need to make sure your risk mitigation strategies are intact and you're able to bounce back. And when you bounce back you move with force and become the success that your organization wants to become. Now, this session is so personal to me, understanding mindset, because the mindset problem is a cancer that has eaten African nations, and the serious issue that IoD, every stakeholder has to pick this with force. With force. In 2000 and last 3 years, I think we did a conference on African mindset transformation and system thinking. One of my organizations did that, and we tend to repeat those programs in the shortest possible future. So, mindset. What is mindset? Everybody talks about mindset in the buses, in the schools, in our churches and all that. We talk about mindset. But what is a mindset? I define mindset as how we think, believe, and act. There are also other scholars or proponents who also explain mindset as the collection of your thoughts and beliefs that shape your habits. And also your thought habits affect how you think, what you feel, and what you do. It gives you the overall world view. Your world view is your mindset. Mindset influence results. In fact, mindset, that's why it's so dear. Your mindset will actually influence your results in any setting, whether you are a CEO, whether you are that or that. Whatever target you've set for yourself to achieve can be achieved or cannot be achieved based on your mindset. Let's look at this ladder. There's a task that is given to us. And then right from the word-go, somebody said, I won't do it. And it happens in our organizations. You give a task to somebody, a staff, right from the word-go, he said, I won't do it. It's a mindset issue. And then another person said, I can do it. But if you give it to him, he just put it down. He just showed up. I can do it. And then another said, I want to do it. The next person said, how do I do it? So the next one will say, I'll try to do it. And then another, I can do it. The next, I will do it. And then the last one said, yes, I did it. Let me ask, which of these states are you? Are you the one that says, I will try to do it? And if you are leaders, but if you go down to your subordinates, these are things that are happening in our workplaces. And these are all mindset problems that we all need to correct. In mindset, you can be fixed or growth mindset. Let me pause here and ask Madame Celestia to share a link quickly with us, and then we use 3 minutes to complete that quiz. When you complete, it tells you the type of mindset that you have. In 3 minutes, it will cut. Then I think we can continue with the discussion. In 3 minutes.
Hello,
In 3
sir.
minutes.
Please, we are putting the link in the chat box, please. So kindly check your chat box for the link. So the link is in the chat. Kindly click on it to complete. Prof, please, because of time, can you be doing the presentation as it's being completed?
Okay.
To save
All
time,
right.
please. Thank you.
All right. So you can be fixed or growth mindset. And by the time you finish completing the quiz, you know where you are placed. Don't worry, if you happen to be fixed, we can have an intervention for you to move to growth. In fact, growth mindset is the best. Fixed mindset individuals assume that everything that they are is based on their intelligence. Intelligence is fixed. If you are born intelligent, you are intelligent. If you are born dumb, you are dumb. Growth mindset doesn't see that way. He thinks that intelligence is malleable. You can actually improve your intelligence through learning, continuous learning, and all that. And the two approaches things differently because of their nature. So I'll walk you through the characteristics of fixed mindset and growth mindset. If you are an individual like Owusu-Manu, if Owusu-Manu is a fixed mindset, I exhibit the following characteristics. I believe that fixed traits and attributes. I believe that I have fixed traits and attributes. And then I also believe that intelligence is static. And then I give up easily. Let trouble comes, then I say, oh, let it go. I just give up easily. Fixed mindset individuals are dream killers. If you tell a fixed mindset individual your dream or your vision, he will shut it down completely. And then they avoid criticism. Go and criticize a fixed mindset person, and then you become his enemy for life. they believe that success is based on fixed rate, and then also lack motivation. But if we're a growth mindset individual, like Owusu-Manu is a growth mindset, then he embraces challenges, he views effort as pathway to mastery, and then persists in the face of setback. When there's a setback, you're able to persist. And then find lessons and inspirations from the sources of others. Learn from criticism. Half of growth mindset, they enjoy criticism because that they see that as an avenue for improvement. And they are often optimistic. Let's watch this. Those who work for us as directors is a very serious matter. The fixed mindset individuals, you need to fish them out and help them. If you employ somebody and that person is a fixed mindset, they have this mentality, entitlement mentality, that everything should come to them naturally. They also are the people who think that they have been with you for a long time and that you own them. They call them MBA, Mebahache. They are there. There are plenty in our workplaces. And then also, those fixed mindset guys consider status as an important factor. They can kill for a position. Look out for them and help them. Sometimes I call them the medicine people, the MPs within our work setting, who are all constantly looking for positions. And then they are also the type who I call them the PhD holders. It's not like they have earned PhD degrees, but they have this pull him down tendencies, PhD. And these guys are there, they are plenty. When somebody is progressing, they are pulling him down. They will not let you go. And right. And then also they are threatened by the achievement of others. When threatened by setback, they tend to blame others, always playing the blame game. And then mostly they lie about the achievement. What they have not done, they are saying they have done. They lie about reports. If you give them reports, giving that report, you go and tell us everything in the report, you'll be marveled. Then growth mindset employees, they place a high premium on learning from both successes and failures. They welcome challenges, work harder, and more effectively. They also persevere in the face of struggles. They do also not see challenges as setbacks, as failures, but rather chance to learn and grow. They are usually the motivators, the thinkers, and the doers in your organizations. So look for these guys. They are there. They exhibit these traits. They are motivators, they are thinkers, and they are doers. They demonstrate ethical behavior and push colleagues to their dreams. So any one of these guys in your company who is pushing other colleagues to file for promotion, to do this, to do that, is a growth mindset person. And they have that creative and innovative capacities, who are always giving initiatives. So directors, if these guys are there and they bring an initiative to your table, let it work. And then let me talk about us, leaders, we the directors ourselves. Directors who are fixed mindset. These are some of the exhibits or characteristics we exhibit. We often fail to recognize positive changes in employee performance. When was the last time you said you recognized that positive change in that HR personnel? You failed to do that. Then we are also threatened by the achievement of subordinates. When your subordinates are rising very fast, then you are threatened. Then you begin to put impediments, blockades to stop him and all that. You begin to transfer the person. You begin to do that. You begin to do that because the person is showing promise. You send him far away village for him to go to the village or somewhere remote that he will not have access to the facilities that is enabling his or her innovative capacities. Then fixed mindset individuals try to prove themselves as superior all the time, don't you show up. Things that they have not done, they are superior, they are subordinate did, they take credit for everything without giving credit to their subordinates. Then they prevent others from also gaining power. The power that you are holding on, if you are a first mindset person, I will try many means, ways and means to make sure nobody clings there. Then they emphasize more on hierarchy in groups to maintain their leadership positions. They view any failing of their employees as emblematic or the person having low intelligence, right? That is about the fixed mindset leaders. And that speaks directly to us on this call. If you are a growth mindset director or leader, you believe that people can get better at their jobs if given the appropriate feedback, growth assignment, and development. And then you always surround yourself with able and talented people because they are not threatened by them, like my type. Everybody around me is a stronghold. Admit if you are a growth mindset, you admit your mistake and learn from them and actively seek ways to improve them. And many more other beautiful characteristics about these growth mindset leaders. Now, the subject matter is institutional mindset because a fixed individual mindset influence leadership mindset, then influence institutional mindset. So we are looking at institutional mindset, the interaction between leadership, institutional mindset, and governance. By way of definition, Madam President, I define institutional mindset as the collective beliefs, values, norms, and cognitive frameworks that shape how an institution perceives challenges, makes decisions, and pursues its mission. Let me break it down to understand the DNA of a fixed mindset institution. If your company, let's look at these characteristics. If your setup or your company has exhibit any of these, then quickly when you go back to your boardrooms, you need to develop strategies to see how you can move from fixed to growth. There's an intervention that are available. We can walk you to your organization to become a growth mindset. One, if you are a fixed mindset institution, you emphasize more on work and profit. You even ignore the triple bottom line of planet, people, and the people and profit. Your focus is more on the last P, on profit. Then it's always difficult to adapt to changes. Adapt to changes. And if you are unable to adapt to changes, your end result as an institution is that it will fail, it will collapse. And then you kick at that institution, kick against important policies. Anytime some policies are being implemented, no, we don't like this. This is how we do things here. Though this policy, go away. And then you realize that you have this growth stagnation. You don't grow. You are the same company last 10 years and the same company in now. And then also they believe in the traditional system of doing things. Now that AI has come to play from academia to workplace, you say, no. We don't do AI things here. We do traditional way of doing things. You will be lost. They also lack motivation for innovation, and they are most of the time innovation killers. You don't have to sit down to become like Nokia. who didn't innovate, like Yahoo, like all those big companies that started, and then they didn't innovate. When the innovation was introduced to them, they shut it down and said, "This is how we do things. So take your matter, go." They employ workers who have natural talents. They don't want to employ anybody who, excuse me to say, hasn't gotten the natural flair or talent. Now, if you do that, you are making a big mistake. There are people who are there. When you engage them, you can train them because they have fixed mindset. They always think that intelligence are fixed. So they just take on the best guys who later come and fail. They expect all employees to be as good at the task as they were, and often blame any departmental struggles on the weakness of their staff. So they are very rigorous about recruitment. First class and all that is a big mistake. So you don't base on those natural abilities to employ people. There are other things you have to consider. They are less likely to coach employees about how to improve performance. So if you work in such companies, no staff training, no boot camps, nothing, right? And then by the time you realize the employees have rotten in terms of your cognitive abilities. They are less likely to coach employees about how to improve performance or to offer constructive feedbacks. Then the growth mindset institutions are institutions who easily adapt to new changes in the organization. For instance, with the emerging technologies, blockchain, BIM implementation, and all those wonderful technologies, Internet of Things, and all that, we said, no. They always want to find new ways of doing things, how to adapt to these technologies, and also train their staff in them so that they can be more efficient. They emphasize on good governance structures and employee well-being. So if an organization doesn't have a board, or the board is just a ceremonial board, then you have to rethink. But the good thing is that the growth mindset companies emphasize on good governance. Then they provide incentives to motivate workers to improve performance for innovation, develop systems for technology transfer and monitoring and mentoring. They also emphasize on human relations to push profit, constantly employ new ways of improving systems. They use annual review and evaluation system to explore avenues of growth and reward employees. If you go to the fixed mindset companies, annual reviews are used to punish employees. Go and fail. They give you a target and you could not achieve it. And then they tell you, because you didn't achieve your target, this. But the growth mindset, no. When annual reviews are used to explore ways of improving and also avenues of growth and also reward staff, not to look at loopholes and punish employees. Encourage growth mindset in their employees. That's those companies. They always want to translate help their employees to cultivate growth mindset. Because when your employees cultivate growth mindset, that is when your organization becomes a growth mindset institution. And then they improve employee motivation, retention, and loyalty, which can spur collaboration, innovation, and also create problem solving at all organizational levels. And then they ask for feedback because it's seen as learning opportunity. So growth mindset organizations, their CEOs, like your type, you always ask feedback from your employees. Like my student, ask them feedback. Yesterday, when I was doing mock presentation with them, I asked feedback, and they said this. That's growth mindset. This one, I summarize it for your boardrooms. So as you are going to your various boardrooms, these are the key points we can derive from fixed mindset and growth mindset institutions. For fixed mindset, most institutions or all institutions will say, this is how we always do things. And then if you bring any important change, they will kick against it, whether at management level or at board level. They always play the blame culture when things go wrong. It is you who did it. They'll be pointing figures. They are always siloed thinking and operations. Then the fear of failure stifles innovation. And in fact, life, if you don't fail, you cannot succeed. So don't be afraid to fail. Failure is a springboard for success. And this fixed mindset organization, the fear of failure, and it has affected so many big companies to actually collapse. Nokia, Yahoo, BlackBerry, all of them, they feared to fail, and they failed. It's a serious matter. Then there's this short-term survival focus, and then also they have this defensive posture to criticism. But growth mindset explore the question, how can we do this better? Then it comes with embracing challenges, changes as opportunity. They have this learning culture from setbacks. They have this cross-functional collaboration. In fact, they operate more of system thinking approach in everything. One department is not living as a siloed department, but rather they do this cross-functional collaboration between Department A, B, C, D, and E, and also across the stakeholder value chain. They see experimentation as also another means to encourage innovation. Then they have long-term sustainability focus. And then also their growth mindset institutions welcome feedback and criticisms, and they see those as a way of improving. Madam President, the critical link, which is the missing link, that's the bridge between individual mindset and social mindset, is the leader, you, the leaders, you, the directors of IoD Ghana. You leaders are the transmitters of mindset across an organization that you operate in. And also the quality of that transmission depends on three things. First, it depends on the self-awareness of the leader. Second, it depends on growth orientation of the leader. And then third, it depends on system thinking perspective of the leader. Under self-awareness, the leader, which I'm talking about you, has to understand your personal biases that you use to take the decisions, and also know or acknowledge your blind spots, and then apply emotional intelligence in decision making. And then you must always have this continuous self-reflection. The best time of doing self-reflection as a leader is waking up early and do that reflection before you go to work. You don't wake up 6 a.m. and then just go to work. You need to, before you go, you need to do self-reflection for you to becoming self-aware. The growth orientation, embracing challenges, and then also learning from failures, and then seeking feedback, and most importantly, developing others. With system thinking approach, we're talking about long-term perspective, interconnected thinking, and then stakeholder awareness, and then also adaptive decision making. Your decision making should not be static, it should be dynamic. You should be able to adapt to several scenarios and circumstances. My theory of institutional mindset, I see it as encompassing organizational culture and values. and then also decision-making paradigms. There are also attitudes towards change, innovation, and risk tolerance. And I also see institutional mindset as a way of influencing how problems are framed within our management board, meetings, our board meetings. And then what solutions are considered. And then also how resources are allocated. And then how you engage with your stakeholders. Madam President, this defining governance success, you are the masters. You know,
Hello, sir. Hello, Prof.
Yes. Is time up?
Yes, Prof. So just finish this particular slide. Then we'll end the session. Possibly we invite Madam President to give the remarks. We'll give another opportunity to continue the session in no distance future.
Okay,
So
let me finish this one. But have they finished completing the questionnaires? I want to have a feedback on those.
So the questionnaires, they've gone to them. The questionnaires have gone to them in the chat box. And like we said, we will send it to them by email as well as part of the recording. Some have challenged with their network as they're on the call. So they're not able to complete it. But as it goes to their emails, they'll do that in due course, please.
Okay. Thank you. So I think defining governance success, we are talking about governance success being the sustained achievement of organizational objectives through speaking structures, accountability mechanism, and stakeholder engagement that creates lasting value. And it has these components that we are aware of. I don't need to repeat this. Accountability, effectiveness, transparency, and also participation. Right. So thank you. This last part looks at the linkages framework between the leadership mindset and also organizational success. Right. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Prof. There are some few comments in the chat box. Just commending you for this insightful presentation. And on this note, I would like to invite Madam President to give us the closing remarks. The closing remarks for this session. And just want to know participants to know that we'll call for a second part of this seminar in no distant future. So kindly watch on the platforms and the mediums from which you got the link to register. Madam President, please, I yield the invisible mic to you.
Thank you again, Celestia. I'll start this closing remark by first of all thanking Professor Owusu-Manu. He's taken us through quite a lot. He still has a lot more to present, but he started us off by telling us that this is a philosophical topic. And I say, yes, we now have a professor here. He gave us 7 thematic areas. You know, he looked at cases from, he told us he'll be looking at cases from Rwanda, Singapore, Ghana, and so on. He even started us off by talking about the human development stages from dependent to independent to legacy and so on and so forth. And like the professor, we were also taking through measurements of progress, both quantitative and qualitative are some of the measurements that we can use. He asked a question whether we are making progress, and we saw from figures, and examples he had given that yes, indeed, we can make progress. Why? Because we have what it takes. We have all the resources, we have the human capital, and so on and so forth, so that we have no reason for not making the kind of progress we should make as a continent. Then he talked about, some drawbacks that could actually be resulting from leadership. Talked about leadership, looked at it in terms of the traditional view and also the progress-oriented view. Progress-oriented view would obviously look at value creation, long-term vision, and I added generational thinker because you're looking at things beyond you, looking at the next generation and making sure you are preparing and paving the way for them. He took us through understanding the mindset, which is how we think, how we believe, how we act. In short, your worldview, which will then influence the way you do other things. He mentioned the director, the leader as the critical link, which we're also looking at. And if we're able to do all of this, I think in sum, what we are looking at is that leadership will shape the institutional mindset through examples, through the priorities that the leader sets. We are looking at a situation where we can then have the right governance that will ensure leadership, accountability, effectiveness, and so on and so forth. Without that, what we are being made to understand is that there could be growth stagnation, sometimes even corruption, there'll be weak implementation, and eventually it will lead to institutional decline. And I would still add national decline because these are the things that if we don't do, we will not see the kind of progress we make. I believe that there's still another missing link, and I'll reserve that for maybe the next time that we meet. So I believe that lessons have been drawn from today's presentation, and that when we put this into practice, we can then drive sustainable growth and progress of our various institutions and organizations. I think I will use two words to sum this up and say it's about involvement and it's about making impact. So on this note, I once again want to thank the Prof, Professor Owusu-Manu, and thank all of you honorable members, participants for being here. And I'll go on to encourage you that we do offer a lot of insightful, webinars. And so to come along, not just by yourselves, but to pull as many people as you can, so we all can benefit from this. On this note, I thank you all very much, and I yield back to you, Celestia.
Thank you so much, Madam President, for that insightful closing remarks. Somebody left in the chat that we didn't give time for questions. We actually left a message in the chat that leave your questions in the chat that will be attended to. But as we are ending the session, we don't have any question in the chat. But as said earlier, we'll have another opportunity to continue this presentation. And we believe that at that time we can ask all the questions that we couldn't ask today. The recording of this session will be sent to your emails together with the link that was sent in the chat for you to complete the assessment link to be sent to your email. Please, those who are asking for the presentation slides, we don't give out the presentation slides. We share the recording of the session, so kindly watch out for the recording. On this note, just want to buttress what Madam President said. Please follow us as we journey on to learn more in the governance space. So watch our platforms for the next seminar in the month of June. A very good topic will come up. And please join us, not only yourself, but share it among your networks. Thank you, Prof. Douglas. Thank you for De-Graft Owusu-Manu, for making time for us, though we couldn't exhaust the whole presentation. It has been insightful, and we know that we'll have time for the second part of this presentation. Madam President, thank you for giving us opportunity to serve the Institute. And thank you all, council members and members, fellows of IoD Ghana and the general public for joining us. On this note, we draw the curtains for today's session and see you next time for another soul sharpening session. Thank you from all of us here at IoD Ghana.
Bye.